Okay, so we are going live across all the happy platforms. Yay. All right, I'm trying to get all the cameras to line up. It's not working well. Okay, so we're going to talk about Advent. Wow, that camera's really off. Fuck. Um Advent and self-care. I'm not sure where to put you, Facebook. So, what I want to talk about with Advent and self-care. Ooh, there is so Advent is the 24 days before Christmas. And as a lot of you know, for those of you who are watching, I'm a slut for Christmas. I love Christmas. I love Yule. I love all the winter holidays. It is my favorite time of year. It makes me incredibly happy to share it with people. Last year, we did the 12 days of Christmas. As far as spiritual interpretations. So we are going to do the Advent calendar this year. It is based off the Advent calendar from my youth, from my childhood. So in my family, crafts are a really big thing. And so if you get a like when you have your own family or anything like that, or move out and become an adult, you get an Advent calendar. It's on a burlap background. It has a green Christmas tree, and it has 24 different ornaments that you put on the Christmas tree. Each one has a very Christian meaning behind it. Now, we are going to take that childhood treasure of mine that is up in my house right now, and at some point I will schlep it out on one of these days to show all of you. But we are going to do day one, and day one is the owl. The little felt owl. And if any of you have any kind of negative comments about my ornaments, my mother made it. Okay? Step up off it. No one insults my mother. So I love this calendar. It makes me very, very happy. But let's jump into the owl. Whenever I think of owls, I think of wisdom. I also think of the Tootsie Pop for those of you who are into candy and stuff like that. How many licks does it take to get the center of the Tootsie Pop? I did that a lot when I was little. I always bit. I always bit. I have no patience. But so it's a lot of P words actually with the owl for me specifically. So with self-care incorporated into the holiday seasons, I want you to be patient, mostly with yourself. We always tell ourselves to be patient with other people. We always say, oh, you need to give them grace. You need to give them patience. You need to cut them a bunch of slack. They've had a hard year, or they're going through something, or quite frankly, they're just a bitch. But we rarely say it to ourselves that, oh my gosh, I need to give myself some patience. I actually had a conversation with my mother today who said, oh my, I'm so behind the ball. The ball of what? And she had said she hasn't decorated yet. It's already December 1st. She hasn't decorated. She hasn't made any of the homemade things that she normally makes by now. And I explained to her, you've had 3 family members who have been really sick and have become almost fully dependent on you in the past month. And you're upset because you can't do more. It'd be upsetting if you did get everything done. If you are not feeling well, if someone else is not feeling well, you need to give yourself patience. You need to be able to give yourself that grace to have feelings, or to be able to take care of sick people during the holidays, because that's a real thing too. Like with being sick during the holidays, the goal is not to do more. The goal is solidly to do less. The goal is solidly to do the bare minimum to keep you going. It is not to be festive. It is not to be happy. It is not to make space for other people. It is just to take care of you. Be patient with yourself during this holiday season. And with the patience, also be patient with other people. I went to the store and got my mom her gift cards for Christmas and stuff that we always do, that I always do every year to give her. And there was this old person who was walking at the speed of a slug, and it is cold. And I was just behind them. I did not make a word. And then the caregiver looked and was like, oh, and I'm like, oh, no, there is no, oh, there is just go. Like, do not speed up on my account. I had a walker for almost a year several years ago. You go as slow as you need to. It is Minnesota winter. Better safe than sorry. You take your time. I got nowhere to be. There is nothing that's more important than getting that little old teetering lady into the car safely. And the caregiver's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm an adult. It's fine. I'm not a 2-year-old freezing to death. It's good. So be patient with yourself, but also be patient with other people. Certain things may be annoying or inconvenient during this time. Absolutely. So many things will grate on your nerves as you have like the thinnest amount of like sanity left. And that's okay. It's okay to be thin on patience, but make sure that you're giving yourself patience first. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself first. And for those of you just tuning in, thank you so much. Make sure to like and share and follow, and hopefully you enjoy this. I will be doing it every night, hopefully, unless I get sick or lose my voice like I did last year and I missed one day of the 12 days of Christmas. Make sure that you're following so that you can see these every day. So patience for yourself during the holiday season is something that we do not remember a lot of times. We always give patience to others, but never to ourselves. And the other P I want to talk about is actually a P that I thought of with the owl at first. Whenever I think of owls, I think of that weird head thing that they do, that they can like whoop, spin it. Not like The Exorcist, but you all know what I mean. They got a solid like 180, 360, like they can twist their head. And it's as the geese are going in the background. Bird love. I live next to a body of water, and so the geese are migrating and all stopping in my backyard to take their final food and poop before they travel. Which, yes, you should poop before you travel. That is wise advice from the geese in the middle of the owl rant. So the next thing I want to talk about is perspective. How are you looking at things? Are you looking at them from a mindset of negativity? Are you looking at them from a mindset of scarcity? Those things can affect what you attract in, but also they can affect the amount of time and sanity you have to enjoy something. You want to be able to have a perspective that's well for you, but also gives you what you want. And very rarely that's negativity. Like, occasionally it is, I will be honest, occasionally negativity is something that you think about. Most of the time it's because you're running away from a bad example and not towards a good one. But that, if things aren't going the way you want during this holiday season, during this time of struggle and strife and annoyingness, it's magical. Don't get me wrong. It is magical, but let's be honest. It is a stressful time of year for almost everybody. What perspective do you need to change? How do you need to see things differently? What do you need to do differently? You are in control of so much. And a lot of times we forget how much we're in control of because our perspective is shifted towards what we can't control. And then we're like, oh, I can't do that. I can't, because you can't control somebody else. Instead, what can you control? You can control your perspective. You can control your outlook. You can control your mindset. Shift your perspective. Some things happen just to teach us patience. And that was something that when I was raised Catholic, I don't know, I'm not sure if I've ever said that on publicly or before or not. I was raised Catholic, going to church every single Sunday, very, very into the yay Jesus growing up. And one of the things that a priest kind of nailed us on was never pray for patience, never ask for patience, because the way the universe, the way that God will give you patience is by giving you shit that needs to make you patient. And that's not, you want the patience, you don't want the lesson to get to the patience. And so I try not to ask for things like that, things like patience. I like to ask for things like abundance and then be clear with my abundance. But make sure that your perspective is on point. Make sure that you are being open to seeing things a different way, being open to other people's opinions. A lot of us can get stuck in our paradigms and our belief systems during this time of year because we may have been raised a certain way. We may just be gung-ho on something. It's like, yes, this is the way it is. There are hundreds of thousands of different religions. There are an infinite number of different schools of thought, and all of them are welcome and all of them are fabulous. So remember that moving forward, being aware of how you need to do things, how you need to function, how your perspective is creating and sculpting your reality. And what do you want your reality to be? So if you need to do a 180, do a 180. If you need to just kind of tip it 1 or 2 degrees, tip it 1 or 2 degrees. For me, normally, I know that I need to move things like 1 to 5 degrees, occasionally 15. And if I am downright wrong, I have to do a 180. And that's another thing that you want to remember, is that admitting you're wrong is part of perspective. You have to see the other side and they go, ooh, My bad. And it is your bad. If you made a mistake, own up to it. I would rather have a small amount of pain like upfront than a longer amount of pain later. So just admit that you were wrong when you're wrong. So that is the owl, a little owl. Oh, I love this guy. I also got to go stocking shopping today. We in my family of crafting, we hand make stockings and embroider stockings and stuff for whenever someone gets married or has a baby or anything like that, whenever someone new comes into the family. And so I got to go shopping for stockings, and I am super excited. I am the biggest dork. I might bring one of the stockings that I've made. Let's be honest, the only stocking that I made is a big fat snowman who kind of looks drunk in the eyes, but that's okay because that was a satin stitch, and that's all I could do. But my perspective with that is at least I got it done. At least I know I can do it. I have not made another one because they take so much time, and also because it was the 3 wise men, and I gave one of the wise men a hunchback. And I didn't know how to process that at the time that I did that. So I just kind of set it aside and let it go for a while. But so remember that if you have questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments. Like, share, and follow if you want to see more of this. I honestly didn't even look at the advent calendar to see what tomorrow is, what will be going on tomorrow for it. I know day 1 is always the owl. There are things like candy canes and a ball and a 4-leaf clover and a candle. Bunch of different symbolism that we will be going through for self-care. And yes, I am doing this psychically. Whatever comes down, whatever messages are channeled through, that is what I give you. Go forth, have a great day. And if you need help with your self-care, schedule a session, link in the bio. If you don't know how you're going to get through the holidays, make sure you're reaching out to somebody, whether it's me, a therapist, family, friend, doesn't matter. Make sure you're taking care of yourself this holiday season. Don't forget to be the hero of your own story. And now I'm going to go through and turn all these off.